Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. Now this video is about the deadliest carrier ant squad out there and how it is so effective and so impactful together. But before we get started, I want to give a big thank you to our sponsor Aptoide. They give amazing bonuses on in-game purchases. That's about 10 to 35% bonus that you get each time you buy a pack, so you can buy additional packs with it. If you're interested, please check out the video that I've shared in the description on how you can avail those bonuses as well. Okay, so the best carrier ant squad right now looks something like this. So we have that silver scorpion as the insect, then we have Eggersi, and then we have our golden crystal, and then we have LB, which is the new carrier ant that deals a lot of damage. Fun fact, Eggersi seems to be extremely rare because all of the Sky members that bought this silver scorpion, they didn't have any luck hatching Eggersi. And interestingly, those who had Eggersi, they never bought the silver scorpion because, well, they were not carrier mains. But of course, I didn't want to confuse everyone, so I used the power of Photoshop to put Eggersi into Vlad's unit. Otherwise, you would all be very confused on what I'm talking about because you're not seeing Eggersi in row 1, you're seeing a different ant, and that's not making any sense. So anyhow, now let's get started and go into details on each of these ants and insects and see why they work so well together. Let's start with the rare Eggersi. Here it is. Okay, let's start with the basic skills. So skill 3 and 4 goes up to 96%, as is standard with Baron ants. Of course, this is higher than normal ants because Baron ants get an extra buff. If you look at skill 7, it's giving 35% extra health. This is again higher than normal ants. They give 25. This is giving 35 to all of your squads in this unit. Skill 1 is standard as well, just that it gives less normal attack damage, but that gets balanced out in skill 6. And let's talk about skill 6. You get attack, defense, and health, but you also get 60 combat speed. And you all know I'm a big fan of combat speed, and 60 is a lot. So that is really going well for Eggersi right now. Now let's go into the special skills. Skill number 2. During the battle, increase the skill damage dealt by all our carrier squads by 75%. That is a major increase. And reduce the normal attack damage by 50%, which we don't really care about because normal attack damage isn't carrier ant's specialty anyway. So that is an amazing skill. 75% skill damage is wow. Skill number 5. Increase dodge by 25%, which is pretty nice. Given that this is a row 1 ant, you want to be able to live longer. And of course, dodge is going to let you live longer. Skill number 8, and this is actually its best skill in my opinion. In rounds 2, 4, and 6, has a 60% chance to increase the triggering of the 5th skill of 2 random carrier squads to 100%, meaning guarantee attack for the 5th skill for 2 squads. And if it requires a round of preparation, meaning that the 2 squads, they require some preparation, 80% chance to skip 1 round. Now this can be an amazing skill, or it can be completely useless if, let's say, both of your ants that you're using other than Eggersi have a 100% chance of releasing the skill, then you're not really gaining anything. But that's why we're going to go to our next ant. And it is LB. And of course, I'm going to call it LB because I'm not going to try to call it by its real name. So what is LB? And why do they keep calling it the King of Attack? Let's start with its standard skills. So skill 3 and 4 is the normal class specific, 76%, nothing special here. Skill number 7, of course, attack. It's the King of Attack, so 66% attack to all of its squad. Again, standard for non-Baron ants. And skill number 1, absolutely standard as well. And skill number 6, it looks like it's getting 60 combat speed too, which again I love because combat speed is amazing and it's wonderful for PvP. And you're also getting attack, defense, and health, which is nice as well. So now let's talk about the special skills and be prepared to get in awe. Skill number 2, 80% chance to launch 3 attacks against the enemy squad, each dealing 180% damage. And of course, I'm including that special ant level multiplied by 1 as 50 because you're going to be using it at level 50. Don't tell me you're going to use it at level 1. So 180% damage 3 times. But the third attack is guaranteed to double. So that becomes a lot of damage. Add that up, that's 720% damage. But it doesn't end there. Increase the dodge of its squad by 10% for 1 round. Again, wonderful for survivability. We are getting a lot of dodge in our ants. That is great news. Let's go to skill 5. And this should give you a little bit of a hint. Eggersi is very useful here. Prepares for 2 rounds and has an 80% chance to deal 1000% damage to 2 random enemy squads, not 1, 2. That's 2000% damage. Yes, you're taking 2 rounds of preparation, but 2000% damage over 2 enemies, that's a lot of damage, right? 1000 on each enemy. Yikes. And remember, Eggersi can make that 1 round of preparation. So it really isn't that much of a delay. That's a lot of damage, and that is wonderful. No wonder they call it the king of attack. Now also remember one thing. This ant is doing a lot of damage, but Eggersi also increases skill damage. So this could be doing a terribly high amount of damage. Okay, let's go to skill number 8. 1 round of preparation and an 80% chance to deal 330% damage to all enemy squads. That's 990% in total. And that doesn't end there. It also applies a debuff. Now look at that. If the enemy is a guardian, increase the damage taken by 25%. If the enemy is a shooter, decrease normal attack damage dealt by 30%. And that's like targeting the shooter meta right there. It's all about normal attack damage. And carriers decrease skill damage by 40%. And carriers are all about skill damage. So wow, this is a very bad debuff for the enemy. And the effect lasts 1 round. That is a really nice skill. And you can see like all of its skills are so heavy on damage. And then Eggersi is giving extra skill damage. This is going to become a very dangerous combination already. Let's go to Golden Crystal. Let's start with the basic skills. Nothing special here. It's the basic attack and defense. Of course, skill number 7 is giving it a bunch of attack to all its units. Again, it's also basic because it's not a Baron Ant. Skill 1 is standard as well. And skill 6, again, combat speed, check. Health, attack, and defense, check. Very nice. That's exactly what we're expecting. Now let's go to skill 2. And of course, we're going to talk about the maxed out one. So 80% chance to deal 380% damage to a random enemy squad and then increases its squad attack by 65%. That's amazing. And it's for 2 rounds. Wonderful. Allows you to do even more damage as you move on. And 80% chance is a very high chance. So that is great. Okay, let's go to skill number 5. Okay, prepares for 1 round unless Eggersi decides to make it 0 rounds, and then has an 80% chance to deal 380% damage to all enemy squads, and also poison them, dealing additional 220% damage for 1 round. That is a lot of damage. That's like 600 damage to each squad and 1800% damage in total. And that's for 1 round of preparation, or potentially 0. I mean, if Eggersi comes in, that's like crazy amount of damage. Okay, skill number 8. And let's go to the maxed out one. 50% chance to deal 290% damage to all squads. Wow, it's really targeting all squads here. And if the squad is poisoned, increase the skill damage dealt this time by 50%. Skill damage has a very strong effect. And a 50% increase in skill damage, that is, yikes, that's a lot of damage. So this golden crystal again is a big damage dealer. Like, that is a lot of damage we just covered. Add to the fact that Eggersi also increases skill damage, and then we have golden crystal, and then we have LB. That's like so much skill damage going on here, it's hard to explain. But the best thing is, it's not done yet. There's still the insect. Now, what's so special about this insect? Well, let's go and check it out. And here we have it, Buthacus. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, okay? So what's so special about that? Well, first of all, skill attack is 80%, which is pretty high. That is very high skill attack. But that's not it. Look at this. During the battle, randomly increases 2 of our carrier ant squad's dodge rate by 20%. Now look, we already had a lot of dodge going on there, and we get 20 more. Really appreciated. And deals 150% damage to the enemy's backline if dodge is triggered. And then damage increases each dodge. So we have so much dodge going on in our ants anyway, and we're getting more from this. And then you're dealing 150 damage every time dodge is actually triggered. So not only are you surviving more, you're actually dealing a lot of damage. And then damage keeps on increasing as you increase the number of dodges. It doesn't give you any limit to how much damage you can actually do. So, well, it leaves that up for your interpretation, but that seems like it can do a lot of damage in this squad. But the fun thing is, the talents is where this shines. Now, hold on. I'm going to explain each of the talents and you will be shocked, okay? So let's start with Nimble Dodge up here. 50% chance to reduce skill damage by 20%. That's amazing. And by the way, I'm assuming it's 2.5 at level 1. It's going to multiply by 8. That gets to 20. So 20% reduction in skill damage, allowing you to survive longer. Let's go to this one. Battle Readiness increases the skill damage of 2 of our random squads by 12%. Right, so 1.5 and then it's 8 levels, so 12%. And for each round of preparation, increases additional skill damage by 12%. Hold up right there. So it's giving us the ability to increase skill damage of 2 of our squads by 12%, unless there's a round of preparation, in which case it's increasing it by 24%. But remember, LB had one that had 2 rounds of preparation. That's 36% extra skill damage. Outstanding. That is actually very scary. That's a lot of skill damage. You're already getting it from Eggersi, and now you're getting it from here. Wow. But that's not it. Look at this one. Practice makes perfect. Chance to increase the second skill by 5% and increase the skill damage by 10%. Wow. And if you go here, after our special ant releases skill damage dealt next time is increased by 20%. Can you imagine how much skill damage we're talking? It's like I've been talking skill damage ever since the start of this video. Skill damage. All of that skill damage is going to add up. And that is a lot of skill damage, right? Just like the fact that our ants are doing so much damage, and then there's so many skill damage buffs, this can potentially do crazy amounts of skill damage. So that's what makes this squad so strong, right? You have Eggersi, which allows you to do more skill damage and also potentially allows you to do your skills more often. And then you have 2 really strong ants that do so much skill damage by themselves. And then you have this carrier insect that's giving you so much extra skill damage. And then additionally, you have a bunch of dodge going on in your unit as well. And then this insect is giving you some extra dodge. And then every time you actually trigger dodge, it's doing damage to the enemy's backline that continues to increase. So this is what makes this carrier ant squad so deadly and so destructive. Okay. So for the next part of the video, we are going to talk about replacements. And since we're already in the insects, we'll just talk about insect replacement first. If you don't have Buthacus, you're probably not going to get anything as good as that. But generally what we do is that if you don't have that insect, go one generation lower. Whip Scorpion is fine as well. If you don't have that, go one generation lower again, Emperor Scorpion. And if you don't have that, you can go to Scorpion. Now, the interesting thing about carrier insects is that it gives you 26 combat speed, which in other class specific insects you get 20. So that's 6 extra combat speed that you get. So 26 more than normal universal insects. Now, Rainbow Scarab, I wouldn't mind if we went with Rainbow Scarab either. Now, that has a plus 20 to begin with, so you're still losing 6 combat speed, but check it out. It's not that bad altogether. Look at this one. So, for each carrier squad in your troop, you get an extra 9% skill damage right here, which is pretty cool. You're going to have 3 of them. So that's 27% extra skill damage. So, I like that. Now, if you go over here, there's a bunch of other skills as well that do seem to be increasing your skill damage. And, well, I don't want to go too much into detail about Rainbow Scarab, but I'll tell you one thing. Getting a Rainbow Scarab does give you the opportunity to test out mixed units. And by the way, there are some really nice mixed units out there. And, I think as a carrier, you can also benefit from mixed units, especially if you're getting a tough time against that shooter squad. Okay, so now let's talk about ants. If you don't have the Eggersi, you could potentially use Gravedigger in its place. Of course, it doesn't compare to Eggersi, but we're assuming you don't have Eggersi, so you might as well use either Gravedigger, or there's another row 1 ant that is fairly good, and it is this one right here. So it's a solid carrier first row defender. Now, if you don't have LB, you could use Shikari Master here instead. It's also a high damage dealing ant, so it could do the trick if you didn't have the opportunity to purchase LB. Graceful Twig Ant could also be a decent choice here. It's that carrier ant that I keep on hatching so often. It's a Baron ant actually, this one. So you could use this one as well. It's also a damage dealer, so it could do a decent job in this row 2 as well. And of course, if you don't have Golden Crystal, well, try to get it. It's become pretty common. It's also in the orange eggs. But you could also use Shikari Master here, assuming you have LB, so you don't need to use SM as a replacement there. You could use it in row 3. Okay, so that covers the replacements, and that ends our video. I hope this was helpful for you, all of you carrier users. This is a very strong unit, and it is heavily skill damage related, so you can see how everything works so well together in this unit. Do try it out. I think it's gonna work, and I think you'll be doing a lot of damage to your enemies. If you like the video, please actually go ahead and like it and comment below. And of course, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And also check out some of the other videos we have on our channel. I think you may love some of the other ones as well. We do have a lot of interesting content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.